Welcome everyone to Something in the Wild. Packing up for my elk trip this upcoming week. I am super excited, beyond pumped, and I've been scrambling around the house all day trying to get stuff ready, and have been making lists and preparing and looking at maps for, I couldn't even tell you how long, since last September. So it's been quite a long time coming, but today I wanted to bring you guys a video about what I'm taking with me on my trip. And, as you can see right here, I got my backpack fully loaded. My muzzleloader's out of the screen right now, but it's right here. Got my boots, got my chest pack. I'm ready to go. Have everything kind of in the vicinity, ready to share with you guys. I'm going to break it down into 5 different kind of sections because I can't fit everything. I'm low on real estate on this table. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is what I'm going to be wearing whenever I'm hiking in. So just my clothing, my jackets, boots, stuff like that. Next is going to be the camp system. So everything like sleeping, my tent, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, all that stuff. I'm going to show that second. Cooking system will be third, along with water. So my water filtration and how I'm going to be cooking my food. Fourth is going to be clothing for any sort of inclement weather. So, puffy pants, waterproof jacket, things like that. And then fifth is going to be my calls, weapons, and then just general miscellaneous stuff that I wasn't able to shove into one of those prior categories. So stay tuned, and I'll show you guys what I got. All right, guys, so like I said, first things first is we're going to go through the stuff that I'm just going to be wearing on my person whenever I first walk in. I want to start by saying that I don't have my merino socks or my underwear that I'm going to be wearing because it's in the wash, but essentially what I'm running on those is just generic merino wool socks and merino wool underwear. And the reason for that is just it's anti-stink. It's very quick drying, and you're not just going to be absolutely rank. Your feet aren't going to smell really super bad, and your underwear is not going to smell bad. It usually is pretty mellow the whole time you're out there, at least in my experience. So I would definitely recommend at least one pair of each, if not 2. If you can afford to throw in the extra couple ounces, two pairs of underwear, 2 pairs of socks, I would definitely recommend that just because comfort's a huge thing in the backcountry, and if you're comfortable with what you're wearing, then you're going to want to stay longer. It's going to be a more enjoyable experience. So make sure to not skimp out on those 2, kind of key pieces of gear right there. They'll make a huge difference, believe me. All right, so to start off, I'm going to kind of go from the ground up. I want to start here with my pants. Right here I have the Corrugate Foundry pants from First Light. I have had these for probably 3 years now, and I really like them. They're very tough, also very breathable. They have hip vents on the sides. They got pockets in the front and the back, sides. Kind of just an all-around good pant for really any situation you're going in. The reason I chose these over, say, like a lighter weight one, for example, the First Light Trace pants, which are very breathable, is I don't really know exactly what kind of conditions we're going to be facing when we're up there. It says right now that temperature is going to be around anywhere between probably 60 to 20 degrees while we're up there. So pretty large temperature difference, and I just figure rather go heavy than too light and, run the risk of being cold at night. So definitely going to go with the heavier set pants. Now up to kind of my base layers, my shirts that I'm going to be wearing. I have 2 shirts that I'm going to wear. I have my Wick short sleeve from First Light, just in gray. And, this has been nice. It's quick drying. Again, merino, so it's not going to stink too bad whenever you're running around. And actually, a funny story about these merino shirts is I went out a couple weekends ago to build a ground blind, do some whitetail scouting, and I must have just went swimming in a pool of poison ivy. And these things, I think, were contaminated with poison ivy, and I got it real bad after that first trip. Then then I washed everything, made sure everything was clean, wore these again, and then got it again. So then I looked up. I was like, can merino hold poison ivy for a while? And the answer is an enthusiastic yes, it can. You'd want to make sure that you wash these very thoroughly. If you do get them dirty, you do get poison ivy on them. A merino wash, whatever you order them off Amazon, they're pretty good. So hopefully the poison ivy is gone off those. Now onto the long sleeve that I'm wearing. It's just a long sleeve wick again with a hood. I like running both of them because it adds that extra warmth, that extra layer whenever it does get a little bit chillier, a little bit cooler. Yet whenever you're hiking, it's still breathable. You can still be pretty active, and you're not going to sweat too bad. Plus, the quick drying is obviously crucial for these backcountry hunts, because whenever you're going to bed, you don't want all your stuff being soaking wet with sweat. So the quicker it dries, the better. Next, for the upper body, I have another First Light piece. It's the insulated vest that First Light offers. Forget what exactly the name of this thing is. I think it's the Tempest vest. But this is probably one of my favorite pieces of clothing that First Light makes. I will wear this thing everywhere, and I don't even care that it's bright orange. I'll wear it to the store or whatever because it is that nice. It's like a good insulation piece while also not being too bulky. And also, since I'm out there during muzzleloader season, I need the orange, so takes kills two birds with one stone there. Now on to headgear. I'm just running my basic hat that I always wear. This thing used to be black. Now it's like grayish brown, very old. This was probably one of the first things that I got from First Light, and the most comfortable hat I've ever worn in my life. And don't get your hopes up. They don't sell it anymore. So that is one of my favorite pieces. And then I also got this just like a wick hat, orange hat that I throw over top of my regular ball cap because, again, you need the orange on the head. So, just throw that thing over top, and it's lightweight, barely even notice it's there, which is really nice. Forgot to mention my boots that I'm wearing because I said I was going to go ground up, but I completely missed this. The boots I'm wearing are the Crispy Thor 2s. They are really nice. They're sturdy. I think Crispy has a 1 to 5 scale for their boots, like a sturdiness ranking, if you will. And these ones are right around 4. So they're kind of like a good all-around boot for hiking through the mountains or even sitting on a tree stand. They're really nice. Now, as you can see, this one right here, it's got a little bit of a battle scar. This was from my dog, Bean, who is laying right at my feet. And he absolutely destroyed these things, but they still work. They're still waterproof, and I'm going to be running them until the soles fall off. And also, Crispy has a good policy where you can actually get the soles replaced, but because this thing's all torn up, once these get worn out, I'll probably just buy a new pair. But anyway, that is that for my clothing. Now on to what I'm wearing on my chest. Now this is the FHF FOB Bino harness with the rangefinder side pouch. Now I have the bear spray on the bottom, just as a little bit of insurance, extra protection. I have my kind of like a razor replaceable blade knife on the side for skinning, just so it's readily available, easy to get to. I have my wind checker in the back. Again, rangefinder on the side. This is a Kilo 2000 SIG Kilo 2000 rangefinder. No complaints with it. And then I have my binos, which are Vortex 1250 crossfires, or 12 by 50 crossfires in there. And then in this front pouch, I have all of my calls. I have the Phelps Easy Sucker call. And then I have some diaphragms in this little pouch right here that I like to use. But I keep that all on my chest at all times, just in case you need to whip it out whenever if there's an elk bugling near you, you got to make sure you have it handy. So that is everything that I'm wearing on my body. Now we're going to go into kind of my pack dump, camp setup, sleeping systems. All right, so here's all of my my camping stuff, right? I try and condense it into as small of a package as possible. The biggest thing that I kind of struggle with is the sheer size of my sleeping bag, but it's something that you can't really get around. It's just an inevitability that it's going to take up a lot of space and be large. So let's start off first with my actual tent itself. So this is the Seek Outside Guardian, and it's a 2-person tent, but I'm also packing for not just myself, but my dad. So my dad and I are going to be sleeping in the same tent, and this is, it's very suitable for 2 people. Folds down nice and small. It's very lightweight. I believe it's around like 2 some pounds, including the stakes. So it does the job for us very nicely. Now for the bottom, because I elected to not include the Nest system, which is basically mesh with the bathtub flooring, we're going to go instead with ground mats. So these are just very thin, kind of plasticky mats that you lay on the ground, just so you're not your sleeping mat's not going to be straight on the ground. It's going to be more prone to getting punctures and things like that. So we got 2 of these, one for each of us. And these are really nice. You can also I got these from Seek Outside, but you can just make these out of that side paper material that Lowe's sells whenever you put it on the outside of your house. It's basically the same exact material. So if you want to go a little bit cheaper, by all means. But I think these were like $10 or something like that. And those are from Seek Outside. So very, very important piece of equipment if you don't want to be patching holes all night in your sleeping pad. Now, this is my sleeping pad that I use. It's the Inclement Insulated Static V. I'm indifferent about this thing, honestly. It's very light, which is nice, but it's very thin. It's not really super comfortable. I have other sleeping mats that I've tried, and this is the least comfortable one that I have, but just because, it's light and, you need to be lightweight in the backcountry, I'm gonna elect to bring it. We'll see how it is on an extended 3 or 4 day backpacking trip. But for right now, that's what I'm running. And then I also got this little, Arrows pillow from Sea to Summit. This is the premium large, so it's got a kind of a felt, or not really a felt, but a soft side, and it inflates pretty big. Now, I really like my pillows, as I've mentioned in videos past, so I went with the bigger one, which is what you got to do. Now, I also have my trekking poles up here because that tent requires some sort of pole system, and they recommend trekking poles. You can use sticks. I'm electing for the trekking poles because they serve kind of a dual purpose. Whenever you're packing out meat, it's a lot easier to be walking with trekking poles than without. So I'm going to bring these. As for I'll go into my sleeping bag. So this is packed in here. This sleeping bag is packed in a Sea to Summit pack bag, sack, whatever you want to call it. This thing condenses very small compared to the actual size of the sleeping bag, because this is a 20-degree Big Agnes 20-degree bag. And here, I'll pull this thing the whole way out for you, and you can kind of see just how big it is. And it's very, very thick. I'm not sure if I got the extra large or not, but it is huge. And it's very warm. I have had no complaints with the warmth of that, and I plan on using this thing for a while, because just because it does keep me so warm. And I'll probably bring that same exact sleeping bag out with me whenever I'm going back in the late season for rifle. So I think it should last. It's kind of a good all season bag for the warmer weather, Not saying that you should use it whenever it's like 80 degrees outside, but whenever it drops below 60, 50, 40, it's a comfortable bag. Now, I'll talk a little bit about this thing right here. Now, this used to be a sleeping mat, like a full-size 6-foot long sleeping mat that folded up into, yay big. But I actually cut this because I got that other sleeping bag, the inflatable one, and it's a little bit more comfortable. So I turned this sleeping mat into a kind of like a seat, like seat cushions, like a glassing pad. So whenever you're sitting there looking through your binoculars, you're sitting around at camp. It also works great as like a floor mat outside of your tent. If you don't want to put your boots on inside the tent, you throw it down on the ground. You can stand on it with your socks, put your boots on, and it's just a nice luxury item to have. Not a necessity, but definitely good to have, and it just adds that extra level of comfort whenever you're camping for long periods of time. All right, now let's move on to my water and my cooking system. So this is all the stuff I'm going to use to clean my water and to cook up my food either at the end of the day or throughout the day if I'm eating like a warm lunch or whatever. So I just recently got this water drop filtration system because my filter broke a couple weeks ago. And so far, I mean, I've used it once just in the house, trying to, check it out, make sure everything works. And, it seems like it works pretty well. It's basically a gravity filter. So what you do is you will fill this bag up with water right here. You seal it off at the top. You connect your hose to the bottom right here. Connect that hose to this thing, which is the filter. It's basically like a life straw. So even if you're not using the actual bag itself, you can put this just straight into the water and drink straight out of the water. But if you're filling up bottles and things like that, you wanna filter and just go straight in there. You can use the tube as well, but works well. Filters fast. Nice consistent stream of water. So it seems like it's going to work very well for me. What does this hold? It holds a gallon and a half of water too. So say you want to filter water, but you're far away from your water source whenever you're camping. You can fill up your water bottles, and then you can also fill this up and just not filter it out of the bag yet. And then you have 2 gallons of water that you can use. Now, because things tend to go wrong whenever you're camping, I'm going to bring 2 options for water filtration. And that's my first option is the gravity filter. My second option is these droplets, these water treatment drops. So part A and part B, basically you mix them together in the cap, let them react with one another for a few minutes, pour it into the bottle itself, and there you have it. It's clean water that you can drink, no bacteria. It's not going to get you sick. And it's it's just quick, it's easy. It's my plan B option if things go bad. And it's always good to have a second option. Now going into my cooking system. So I'm going to be rocking the Jet Boil. I kind of removed all the extra things. I just have the cup, the burner, and then the fuel. And I'm going to get a smaller one, but this is just kind of to demonstrate what I'm using with the butane propane mix. So what you do there, you screw this on right there, put this in, and it boils water under a minute. Very quick, very easy, keeps it clean, and it's pretty lightweight. So yeah, I have no complaints with the Jet Boil. Keep that all nice and contained in itself, and that can also be option 3 for filtering water. If you are really desperate, you can just boil your water. That gets rid of all the bacteria too. And that is my food system. I'll go a little bit more in depth with the actual food that I'm bringing in a later video, or maybe whenever I'm out there. But this for right now is what I'm taking, what I'm packing, on top of all the actual food that I'm bringing. And then I also have this titanium spork that I bring too, just so I have some to eat with. All right, now on to my inclement weather my situational awareness, making sure that I'm comfortable in a wide range of weather situations. Now, because you're up in the mountains, because we're going to be 10,000 plus feet, it could be pouring down rain and 70 degrees 1 minute, and then the next minute it's snowing and it's 25 degrees. It changes very, very quickly, so you got to make sure that you're prepared for a wide range of situations. And that's part of the reason why I told you that I was bringing those heavier weight pants, because you really just never know. And you also want to make sure that these systems can also double and, kind of compound on each other and layer on top of one another to really give you that extra warmth that you need. So to start off, we'll start off with kind of the smaller items. I have two things that are going to keep me warm here. I have a neck gaiter. This is just kind of a lightweight wick neck gaiter that can also be used if it's really hot, and you can throw it over your neck and not get too sunburnt if it's really sunny and hot. So serves two purposes. You can also, it'll also keep you warm in the cold just as long as it's dry. Next, just some generic fingerless gloves, mittens that have the flip-up mitten top, wool, so keeps your hands warm if you're glassing, if your hands are getting cold at night, things like that. It's always nice to have a pair of gloves right there. As for my lower body, I was really debating whether or not to bring long johns or to bring puffy pants. I decided on puffy pants because I think that it suits my situation better. It's going to keep me warmer at night whenever I really need it, versus those insulated long johns are going to keep me warm during the day, whenever I'm walking around, if I'm wearing them while I'm walking around. So I really mainly brought these for nighttime sleeping and just putting them on whenever I'm being stationary, because I tend to run very hot whenever I'm moving around. So having these on while I'm moving it doesn't fly with me. It just doesn't work. I get really hot, start sweating, and moisture kind of destroys any sort of warmth that you're going to have if the temperature does shift and things get colder. Now, because I just have these and I'm not bringing the long johns, you kind of need another option, something that's going to block the wind even further, something that's going to keep you warmer while also protecting you from rain. So I have these Kuiu rain pants that you can throw on over top of these puffy pants, can throw on over top of my regular pants, and it blocks the wind, keeps you a little bit warmer, keeps that heat in, and also repels rain if there's some sort of rain situation that comes through, rainstorm that comes through. It soaks everything except you. You are going to stay relatively dry. Now for the upper body, I guess I'll just stick right with the rain stuff. I have another Kuiu rain jacket. Now this thing is really lightweight, and I really love this jacket. Again, doubles as kind of a wind-breaking, wind-stopping layer, as well as a rain layer if it's raining or if it's windy or if it's cold. Throw that on top, and you're going to be a little bit warmer. As for underneath that, if I do get cold, I have a First Light, oh man, I don't even know what it's called. First Light hoodie, basically. It's merino. It's the Furnace. So the Furnace hoodie, merino wool, again, stays relatively quick drying, keeps you warm. The only problem is with this alone by itself is not very, it doesn't really protect you from the wind. The wind kind of cuts straight through it. So that's why always nice to have a rain jacket on hand. Even if it's not going to rain, it's still going to keep you warm. All right, folks, and last but not least, I have all of my weapons stuff, and my weapons, my calls, just general miscellaneous things that didn't really fit in any of those categories. So let's start off with the calls. We're going to go from the time that you know that there's a bull there till the time that you are packing everything up and heading back to the truck. So in order to call bulls in, you need a call. Now, I go with the Phelps metal bugle tube, which I actually dropped a video about my general under 3-minute review of the Phelps bugle tube. I got the metal one. It's very nice. With the Easy Bugler, I like to run the Easy Bugler whenever I am just kind of cruising around the mountains, trying to find bulls. It's good for locator calls. It's good for just the general, very, very effective. You don't need to mess around with any diaphragm calls while you're moving. You're not going to drop any. You're not going to lose any. So I really just stick with the Easy Bugler while I'm running around the mountains. But once I kind of identify that there's a bull there, identify that we do want to go after a bull and it's calling, I have the Phelps Pitch Black series. So there's the 1, 2, and 3. The 1 is the softest latex, easiest to use for beginners. 2 is a little bit more difficult. 3 is the most difficult. This year I'm going to be running the 2 and the 3 because I really wore down the 1 last year just from how much I was practicing and using in the car and all that stuff. So those are my calls I'm going to be using. Now, for my weapon, in Colorado, I have a muzzleloader tag. Now, this is an Optima muzzleloader, 50 caliber, and you can only use powdered black powder. You can only use black powder. You cannot use the pellets, and you also have to use open sights. So it creates a little bit of a challenge, but I have this all set up, ready to go for my trip. And I also am running the FHF rifle sling. Now, I do really like the rifle sling, the FHF one, for one reason only. It has this clip, this buckle right here, that clips onto your bag. So whenever you're hiking through the woods and, you don't really have like a specific bull in mind, or you just want your rifle available, but you don't want to be having to, keep on hiking it up onto your shoulder. This runs a buckle strap right there that buckles it in, so you don't have to worry about it. It's basically just part of your pack, but whenever something happens quick or things are unfolding, you just unclip it from the top, and there you have it, a usable rifle. It's very nice and a very good feature. Now on to, how I'm carrying around like my bullets and stuff, because you can't really carry around a magazine of muzzleloader. So I have a very specific system that I use, and this system basically stems from this little pouch thing that I have. Now, this is a Camelback pouch. I have no idea what this was used for before, but it rolls up really nicely, and it has these 3 separate pockets. In each of these pockets, I'm carrying black powder, pre-measured, already in this test tube, so you can just pour it straight in. You don't have to worry about it. In the next pocket, I have my primer that you can stick in the back really quickly. And then in the third pocket, I have my bullets. So these are just like the hollow point copper bullets, and all of it works very, very well. And it takes me under 30 seconds probably to reload the whole system completely. And that is crucial in the elk woods, especially, I don't plan on missing any shots, knock on wood, but if you do, it's always good to be able to reload quickly and have all your stuff organized and ready to go, and you're not losing it or looking for black powder or measuring black powder into your gun and it not being consistent. You always want to be consistent there. Now, we got to the point where you shot your bull, it's down on the ground, now what? You always want to carry a good set of knives with you. I have these old-timer knives. I just sharpened them up. I have one skinning knife, kind of like a gutting knife, and then a fillet knife. I just bring all 3 of them because there's going to be 3 of us. Figure better be more prepared than less prepared. Keep all your knives with you, and make sure they're there and you can use them, while you're butchering up your meat. Now, just kind of general stuff that I have that it doesn't really fall into those categories either. I have a waterproof med kit, just Band-Aids, Tylenol, ibuprofen, tape, things like that. I do need to restock this, but those are the general things that I'm going to be bringing with me. Chapstick. You always want to bring chapstick with you. can't tell you how chapped your lips will get on these backcountry hunts, and you don't know you need it until you need it, and you really need it. So always be sure to bring chapstick. I also have this, just this little multi-tool from Gerber. I use this thing for everything, and it's good because, say you need to replace your knife on your replaceable blade knife. Want to use the pliers instead of using your fingers because that often leads to getting cut up. So using these, it just has little tools on it too that can help you out throughout the week. Always good to have. And last but not least, right here, life-saving device, a Garmin InReach. You always, especially on these wilderness hunts, you always want to have a way to communicate with the outside world and be able to tell people if you're in trouble or if something bad's happened. Especially if you're by yourself, but even if you're with multiple people, crucial to have a piece of safety equipment, kind of a safety harness, to make sure that you're being safe and you're being careful. So I think that's it. I really appreciate you guys watching. I think that's all I'm going to be bringing. There might be a couple different things, couple little things that I didn't include. I know for sure that I'm going to throw in some citric acid, citric acid powder. And the reason for that is to spray on the meat whenever you first kill your elk. It keeps the flies off, keeps it fresh longer. So always be sure to bring that if you care about your meat quality, which I'm sure all of you guys do. I got like a Nalgene bottle, just general stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you're bringing anything else that I didn't include here, and I'd be happy to listen to the comments and see what you guys have to say about it. But yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to check out the YouTube channel. Next week, we're going to be posting a video of how I'm loading my truck up with all the stuff that's going to be in the truck while I'm going out there, driving out there. So that's going to be super exciting as well. Again, really appreciate it. Looking forward to sharing some more videos with you guys these upcoming weeks. It's going to be super, super exciting, and I'm so pumped. So make sure to check it out and make sure to keep it wild.